Story recapped here. Today I'm going to explain a horror and thriller film called Christy. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. In an empty field somewhere, a man wearing a hoodie casually takes pictures of the corpse of Heather Price, a 21-year-old college student he and his friends have just killed. They've also marked her face with the letter K before leaving her body there unbothered for the authorities that are looking for the girl. They then upload her photos on an underground website containing more pictures and disturbing footage of other girls being killed. The page encourages its followers to kill young women who they think are pretty, pure, and blessed, and they call them Christy, which is a strong word for Christ. They believe that if you kill Christy, you kill God too. The website's members are also urged to show their work so that more people will follow in their footsteps. Meanwhile, a college student named Justine tries hard to divide her time between her boyfriend Aaron, her studies, and her part-time job. But unfortunately, her financial situation prevents her from flying home for Thanksgiving. So, with no other choice, Justine bids her boyfriend goodbye and stays on campus for the break. That night, Justine greets her school guard, Wayne, before going to the basement to do her laundry. There she gets hesitant when a light flickers and decides to just go back, only to scream in fear upon bumping into her roommate, Nicole. Nicole then asks Justine to include her clothes in her pile, also reminding her to buy some red wine before returning to their room. Moments later, Nicole apologetically informs Justine that her father wants them to spend the holiday in Aspen. She even invites Justine to come join her, but Justine politely refuses and tells her that she'll be fine on her own. Feeling bad, Nicole gives Justine the keys to her BMW and tells her to be safe before finally leaving. On Thanksgiving, Justine finds different ways to entertain herself, including swimming in the gym. Then, in the evening, she informs Wayne that she'll buy some snacks outside and takes Nicole's car to a convenience store. She also tells the other guard, Dave, where she's going, so the man reminds her to not take too long since he's closing the gate in 1 hour. In the store, a girl wearing a hoodie named Violet helps Justine when she drops one of her items and even tells her that she likes her car. Justine then thanks Violet but makes sure to keep her distance from her. However, Violet follows Justine to the counter and even gets into a small argument with the cashier when the old man refuses to give her a discount on a pair of sunglasses. Being nice, Justine offers to pay for Violet, but the girl refuses and calls her Christy before leaving. Once Violet and her friends are gone, Justine immediately gets into the car and drives away. Unfortunately, she soon realizes that Violet's gang is waiting for her on the road. They even block Justine's path before she tries to leave, but eventually, they just let her go. Back on campus, Wayne immediately notices that Justine looks upset. She then tells him about the girl who tried to scare her, but the guard assures her that he's got her back. Once she's alone, Justine calls Aaron and shares with him what happened. Worried, Aaron tells her that he's coming back to get her, but Justine insists that she's fine. Meanwhile, Wayne calls Dave and instructs him to keep his eyes out on the perimeter. Later that night, Justine wakes up from a nap and searches for Wayne. She can't help but feel scared for she's all alone, and the lights won't stop going on and off. As Justine walks through the empty corridors of her dormitory, she suddenly hears a noise from behind her and decides to continue looking for the guard. On the other hand, a stranger wearing a hoodie hides in one of the rooms. Agitated, Justine returns to her room and finds a snuff movie playing on her laptop before losing her internet connection. She then sees Wayne outside the window and tries calling for his attention, but the rain drowns out her voice. Frustrated, Justine attempts to fix her laptop, unaware that someone has entered the room. Then, suddenly, someone hacks her computer, and that's when she realizes that Violet is with her. With a box cutter in hand, the stranger makes it clear that she won't hesitate to hurt Justine before smashing her framed picture with Aaron. Terrified, Justine flees downstairs and discovers that the building's door is locked with a crowbar from the outside. She also soon learns that Violet is not alone. Unfortunately, one of Violet's friends cuts the power, leaving Justine cowering in the dark. Wayne then arrives and instructs Justine to get out, but he gets killed with a bat by Violet's minion. Justine can only watch in fear as the kind guard dies in front of her. But when she sees one of the intruders carving the letter K on the wall, she decides that it's time for her to run. However, Violet pins her against the wall and calls her Christy. And although Justine says that it's not her name, the girl informs her that the hunt has just begun. Violet then takes out her phone and starts recording Justine, ordering her to run to God. Without the need to be told twice, Justine runs for her life while Violet and her masked friends pursue her. As Justine flees, she manages to lock herself in a room and escapes through a window, but her nightmare doesn't stop there. She then sees the intruders have completely trashed Nicole's car, but she keeps on moving and goes to the cafeteria kitchen to hide. Using her wits, Justine creates some random noises like touching some cooking pots to distract her killers before escaping. She immediately heads to the parking lot where she discovers Dave's body inside his car. Although she's scared, Justine ignores the dead man and searches his vehicle for his keys or anything she can use as a weapon to fight off the cult members. Unfortunately, Justine doesn't find anything, and she quickly runs away upon hearing the strangers approaching. She then heads to the house of the groundskeeper, Scott, informing him that Dave and Wayne are dead. Confused, Scott tells Justine to take a seat while he looks for his phone, and minutes later, he comes back with a shotgun. However, Scott fails to locate his phone and decides to leave his dog with Justine while he confronts the cult members. But a thick fog provides cover to the killers, so Scott struggles to find them. Meanwhile, the dog breaks free from Justine and ends up being brutally killed by the cult members. They then mock Scott by tossing his dead dog's bloody collar before him, leaving the groundskeeper no choice but to retreat inside the house. With their lives in danger, Scott instructs Justine to find his car keys and phone to call 911 while he keeps an eye out for the killers. However, he lets his guard down when he sees one of them lurking outside his house and tries to shoot him, only to be attacked and hanged from a swing set instead. Wasting no time, Justine flees with Scott's phone and receives a call from a 911 operator, who's concerned after getting a call from that line. She tells the operator that 4 strangers are trying to kill her and that she will lock herself in the library. Unfortunately, Justine realizes that she's actually talking to Violet, who's seen the maintenance number outside Scott's house. The cult members then run to the library in search of their victim, while Violet sends Justine multiple videos of herself while they stalk and pursue her. Violet also texts Justine that they've had a really great time hunting, but it's time for her to die. Eventually, the phone signal gets jammed, and the killers who have just entered the library once again send Justine running for her life. To escape, Justine sets an alarm on Scott's phone and throws it on the floor, leading the cult members away from her. However, Justine makes the mistake of fleeing to the rooftop where the killers eventually corner her, and reveal that they have branded her as a Christie because she's a pretty girl with a nice car. With nowhere to go, Justine jumps from the rooftop and lands on the ground, luckily hitting several tree branches that break her fall. Justine then ignores her foot injury and goes into the woods, unaware that Aaron has finally arrived on campus. Unfortunately, Aaron misses Justine and mistakenly follows Violet into a dark area. Justine tries her best to catch up with her boyfriend, but as soon as Aaron realizes that something's wrong, one of the cult members stabs and kills him. Enraged, Justine uses Aaron's car to crush one of the masked killers to death by pinning him up against a wall. On the other hand, Violet fails to move from her spot after witnessing her friend die. As the night deepens, Justine takes Aaron's bag and goes to the gym, where she plays his voice recording that says that he loves her. Justine quietly cries as she mourns the death of her boyfriend. But when she hears one of the cult members arriving, she is forced to forget her sadness and face them. She then takes a pair of goggles and makes her way to the school pool, staying underwater to hide from the killers. Meanwhile, another hooded and masked cult member continues to look for Justine, unaware that while he's busy searching the small office, she's already transferred to hide behind the bleachers. Justine waits for the right moment to attack the man, and as soon as she sees him distracted by the water hose she's placed by the pool, she approaches him from behind. With her goggles and Aaron's car keys in hand, Justine punches her pursuer in the face before he can hit her with a bat. The two engage in a struggle as they fall into the pool, but as she is a good swimmer, Justine has no problem holding her breath while drowning the cult member. Once the guys stop moving, Justine takes his bat and gets out of the pool before retrieving Aaron's bag. With 2 more killers after her, Justine takes a box of nails from the janitorial supply closet and attaches them to the bat to defend herself. On the other hand, the third hooded and masked cult member arrives by the pool and searches for Justine. As he looks for his victim, he eventually finds his friend's body underwater. He then takes a picture of him before resuming his search and ends up following Justine's tracks to the shower room. The killer opens the shower curtains one by one, enjoying that he can hear Justine's whimpering. However, he soon discovers that Justine has only recorded her voice to deceive him, not knowing that she's hiding in the last stall. When the guy turns his back on her, Justine hits him in the head with the bat and instantly incapacitates him before removing his mask. Justine feels overwhelmed upon seeing the dying killer's face, but then she takes the guy's phone from his jacket and poses as him to inform Violet that their target has been eliminated. Violet then texts that she'll get the car ready, so again, Justine replies to make sure that the cult leader won't suspect that something is amiss. Still clueless, Violet instructs her recently deceased friend to upload their latest victims' photos on their website, where Justine discovers tons of pictures and videos of girls being hunted and killed in different states. Determined to end the cult's crimes, Justine opens the janitorial closet and decides to create a flammable powder using pool chemicals. Meanwhile, Violet waits in the car as she destroys Aaron and Justine's photo before putting it in the glove compartment, where she keeps the other victims' pictures. She then throws the bag of flammable powder at Violet, and when the cult leader gets out of the vehicle, Justine informs her that she's already killed all of her friends. Refusing to back down, Violet attempts to attack Justine using the box cutter, but Justine quickly sets her on fire. Justine quietly watches Violet's futile attempts to extinguish the flames, thinking of how she almost died at the hands of the Christie killers. She then uploads Violet's photos to their underground website and later helps the authorities to find the other cult members using the masked guy's phone. After some time, a cult member prepares to kill a girl outside of her house, but a masked person stops the violent attack from happening.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.